Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the back nine of the first round of the 30th Annual Texas State Disc Golf Championship, supported by Innova. This event is hosted by the Houston Flying Disc Society, Gorilla Disc Golf, and HDG. Big thank you to our broadcast sponsors, Gorilla Disc Golf, Image 360 San Antonio West, Tree Love Disc Golf, the Lucky Ace Podcast, and the Summit Insurance. Thank you very much from our friends here at P4, and let's introduce ourselves. I'm AJ Cueve, along with my partner, Mr. Darren Young.
Yeah, front nine was fun. You saw some great shots from our card, and Gavin starting to pull away on our card at least, and stay competitive with the front nine, or with the leaderboard in the front nine. Let's take a quick look at that as well. Again, as a reminder, you got Charlie Moore with a great front nine, 600 through 9. GT Hancock, Mason Ford, both at 5 under, and then Gavin Phillips right there as well, with a number of other names. So definitely plenty of scoring to be had on the front nine, and they've shown that. So let's see how it works out on the back nine.
Yeah, we're all fight for fourth. They're all trying to fight to be on our coverage for round 2. Absolutely.
On to hole number 10, which is a 720-foot par 4. This one is, if it weren't for the fact that there was so much space left and right of this little tunnel, it would be a it's a really solid wooded tunnel shot, because out of bounds on the left and the right, and so you really have to throw it quite hard to get down to the fairway you want it to be. So this little bushy tree on the right, you can see, is around 400 foot from the tee, and that's kind of the ideal spot, because then it gives the second shot plenty of space to go forehand underneath here or backhand out wide. But it really is a classic wooded ball golf hole where there's plenty of space on the left and the right, but you're still throwing a very controlled 400-foot shot. And we've already seen Gavin do that a few times at this point. So let's see if we can continue going on to hole 10. I think he's throwing that same loots from earlier that he threw on hole 4, I believe.
Beautiful. Flip up.
Looks good. Didn't quite get as much distance probably as he hoped for, but he'll be fine. He'll still have a look for birdie from there.
Really?
Lots of trust.
Lots of faith in that turnover for it to flip and try to fight back. Looks like it didn't get quite enough flip to avoid that tree. A lot more inside.
Garrett going for more of kind of like the force over line. Didn't quite get it on the right line to start off with.
God, what a whip when he rips that disc.
Yeah,
Crazy
Logan
snap.
throws the disc hard for sure.
And there, ooh.
He's close to out of bounds, but he's in great shape, and frankly, I don't know if he's trying to land there, but he's in great shape from there for his birdie.
For sure. Definitely outthrows the rest of the card. This looks really good if he can.
Gosh, Chris's low ceiling game is so good. I mean, he threw that entire flight was no more than 4 foot off the ground, and just probably threw it 380-ish or so. It's so good. Garrett going T-bird again. Little high, maybe?
No real flip off it.
It stays underneath it. Nice.
Stays inside.
Had to circle again. Yeah. Yet another tester from that 35-foot range.
Yeah, I think that being inside the circle there is kind of Garrett's biggest enemy right now, because his tee shots and generally his approaches look fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. He's been throwing the disc fairly well. His
big skip.
Second shots have been mostly good, but just unable to convert on the putting green. Let's see. Yeah, Logan got this forehand. I think the ceiling's a bit higher even. No, actually that early ceiling. Okay, that kind of forced him to stay low, but
great shot.
Yeah, he'll have 20 feet for his birdie. I can't imagine asking for more of a, much more of a drive than that. Gavin from 40-ish probably.
Woo! There we
Bingo.
Go.
Nice from Gavin. Nice work. Gavin has to be feeling pretty good about his start so far. Mm-hmm. He really hasn't had any miscues. A little left, but he had the right pace.
Look at the slow-mo hair flip. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's great.
There's your L'Oreal sponsorship.
I'm still waiting. Please, in the comments, What's the equivalent of suns out, guns out for what we just saw? I don't know what it is, but like braids out or something out, braids out, something out, curls out.
Curls out. We'll workshop it. That looked good, just a bit right or left.
Yeah,
rather.
and if he had birdied that hole from that spot that he hit early in the fairway, it would have been sick. Logan to get back on the board to get another birdie.
Yeah, I appreciate him taking his time on this putt. There you go.
That kind of worked through too, but he able to stick and get a stroke back. Nice work.
Just shoving it into the heart with that dagger, just right into the pole, hoping that it stays in. That's real.
That's all you can do.
Yeah,
you know?
it's brave.
You can't expect the basket to spit you out. I mean, and also if it spits you out, that's fine. You move on to the next one, make another putt. So hole 11's an 34 foot par 4, mandatory on the right. There's actually 2 mandatories. This is the first of 2. And really the first shot is just to try to get somewhere past this big tree. It's about 380 to here. So anything past this makes the second shot much easier. You can see the mandatory on the right as well, that arrow. So if you can get into right here or so, then you got around 350, maybe a little less coming into the green. But just getting around the corner makes the second shot so much easier. And then you got this pond on the right, so any forehands that come in with too much speed can go into the pond. Probably not going to happen very often. And there's OB left and beyond as well. But really, it's the first shot. The first shot, just get past that big bushy tree and work from there.
Yeah, for sure. Mentioning too, there's so much coverage there at the tee too. You have that giant tree right in front of the basket, so it's gonna have to get creative for your approach.
Let's see if this turns around that tree, gets past it, and gets underneath it. So no worries, he's in great shape. Great shape for a second. I think that was that same eye dog too. Like I said, a 7-speed that he just threw like 420.
I like it. He's like me. You don't need anything above a 9 or 9-speed, 12-speed.
Yeah, well.
Throw a 7-speed well.
Let's pump the brakes here, AJ.
Flirty with that OV, but he's safe though. He'll count it.
He'll be in good shape, yeah. And he'll be a little pinched off probably with the mandatory tree, but you got plenty of distance. Chris going for the left side right, actually.
I love these guys' turnover game.
Nice from Chris.
Controlling their flip. It's just, I'm in awe of it.
He's got like this Cheshire cat stamp. I believe this is a Wraith. I'll go and roll.
He's rolling. I mean, that's what you want.
This is great. It's still moving. Oh, this is perfect.
Clear of the second OB. Fantastic. They got the cart in front of us. The basket was right behind that big tree. So
yeah,
great look.
That looks great.
That looks fantastic. They can come in and stick. Perfect.
Wow, Chris, huge. I mean, Chris is showing
shot.
I said on the onset, he's been 1,000 rated for 20 years almost. I mean, he knows his game and he plays it well. This is pumped for a forehand from that spot.
He has a massive trying to skip in.
Wow.
I guess.
That's not an easy shot. Like I said, he was pretty pinched off, so he had to kind of throw it hard and trust the overstability. And he certainly did. He gets a birdie putt because of it. Nice controlled forehand from Gavin.
This looks great. Big skip.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That might have almost gone in.
He was trying to get a highlight clip there too.
Use that same proto rock from Garrett from about 300 feet.
Ooh, a little inside.
A little short left. Another tester. Maybe, a little shorter than the previous testers, but 22, 25 feet. This would do wonders for Logan, I think.
Beautiful putt.
There. Nice putt from Logan. A little high. He's still not happy with it.
That's always a good mentality when you drill your putt and you're like, why couldn't I have done that 11 more times?
Exactly.
That was a beautiful putt, though. Well-earned birdie. Man, the putting
Garrett
green has just not
short.
been kind to Garrett's game this round.
You know, I've watched a lot of coverage, and that is something that Garrett struggled with over the years. Is, you know, he's always been a great thrower to the disc, and the tournaments in which he's putting well, he's usually contending. And then the tournaments that he's not putting well, he's usually like, you know, top 10, top 15, top 20, that kind of thing. And so I think that that's what's being shown here is he's throwing as good or better than everyone on the card, just unable to convert. And he's still, I mean, he's 6 back from Gavin, so like, yeah, he's not competing with the top of the top, but he's still in the tournament. You just got to get the putts to fall.
Yeah, for sure.
Hole 12, a 420-foot par 3, OB on the right side and OB on the left. Probably not really in play for most players. Most guys are going to go out to the right with a backhand and just try to not flip it over too much to go out of bounds. Obviously, if you go out of bounds early, then you're going to be in tough shape for your par. But realistically, it's just throw something hard out of the end of bounds, let it just get stable, and come back into the green. Of course, at 420, this is in that distance where, you know, if you have the elite distance, is no problem. But some of the lesser distance throwers might have to push for that one, for that kind of distance. So Gavin should have no problem. It looks like he slipped on the C box, actually. A little short left. He'll have like maybe 80 feet or so. Logan has plenty of power, so shouldn't have to worry about.
Ooh,
but he slipped as well.
Too.
Yeah.
Real
it's not
wide.
coming back either. That's frustrating. I mean, he just had 2 back-to-back birdies and an unfortunate slip.
Looks like Chris is taking the rain tee.
This is the savvy vet play, you know? He's taking the 5 feet right of the tee box and making sure his footing's good.
And that looks great. Ooh, no, finishing a little strong.
He got
He's
most
got
of the distance.
though. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. 35 feet, maybe?
Garrett's like, I'm going to try the tee pad. See if he can get better footing on it.
This is an interesting. I can't understand the decision. I mean, maybe he just doesn't plant very hard, and that's the thing, but this looks great.
For sure. Good angle. Oh, and the tree. Yeah, he's in the circle.
33 feet. We've seen that putt before. Let's see if we can get one to fall.
Yeah, I think he released it a hair earlier than he wanted.
Yeah. He got his work cut out for his bogey.
Yeah, it's hard to see with the on coverage. That was great, but with the weather, it was raining off and on, and like kind of like a misty type rain off and on during the day. So the ground is significantly slippier than it looks.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously on that tee pad too, you saw 2 guys slip. I mean, some of these tee pads probably have, you know, longer, I don't know, what grass, I guess, than others. Let's watch Chris here. Oh, he got me.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah, attaboy, Chris. Big putt.
That was great.
Yeah, only 10 birdies in the field in the first round, so Chris being one of them. Nice job
That was
from him.
picture perfect.
Well earned. But yeah, I think that like some of these tee boxes have different length of, you know, the turfy grass stuff, or whatever, and some of them absorb more, and that one clearly was absorbing a lot of water. Oh, Gurthie.
A little too
Just
high.
a little high.
Yeah, but I like the angle. I like the speed.
Yeah, you know, last putt he missed his low, so it's a good correction, but just not able to get him to fall. I think at this point in time, Garrett's probably had, like, I don't know, at least 8 birdie putts, probably, if I had to guess. I mean, I can go back and count them, but he's had plenty of opportunities, is the point. Gavin taps in his par. Garrett as well, and moving on to hole 13. First, take a quick look at the leaderboard. Charlie's still charging, 8 under through the first 12 holes. A great start. GT as well, 6 under. Gavin making a charge and tied up with Mason Ford. And then, yeah, plenty of players you recognize up at the top. So great work so far through 12 holes. I would expect that this is probably, you know, in these conditions, is really solid shooting from Charlie and those guys up at the top. Moving on to hole 13, which is essentially the tightest hole in the course. You got a mandatory on the left here. Really doesn't come into a play, just kind of forces guys to go through the tunnel and not go out and around. But this gap right here is the defining gap. You know, it's about probably 15 foot at most, left to right. You're throwing some sort of putter, maybe a mid-range, something just that you can throw straight. Whatever it is you can throw straight is what you're throwing here. Chris is starting us off, and I think he's going with a Mustang.
Yeah, this seems like his kind of shot.
Yeah, just this like hyzer flip to flat type shot. Definitely. It seems for sure. It seems like the type of shot Chris should excel at.
Little inside.
It looked like he started off on a little too much flat angle rather than hyzer angle. Just Gavin with that same glow reco that he's thrown already a few times.
That looks great.
Wow, perfectly shaping the fairway.
Thank you.
Holy cow.
I mean, can't throw much better than that. Perfect hyzer angle. Flips up a little bit, gets some turn. And it's a 3-speed, so it hits the ground. And
he's parked right under the pin. Holy cow.
Yeah, 2-footer. That's beautiful. That is so nice.
Yeah. He's got to be in awe of it sometimes.
It's so good. The same rock he's thrown a few times.
Ooh, come back. Flip, flip, flip.
See, I saw this shot, and I wonder if that's an intended play from Garrett.
You think it's a big brain play?
Well, I mean, because it's a big gap on the left side, and rather than trying to go through that tiny gap on the right, you can just throw it out to the left and then try to make a putt. I mean, I think on a day like today where he hasn't making a lot of putts, I don't know, if that's the right play for him at this point, but maybe it's just part of the game plan. It's like, I'm going to give myself a 25-footer and I'll make him sometimes, maybe sometimes I won't. But I think he probably can repeat that shot a lot. I'd be interested to know if that was intentional for him to go out left or not, because the gap on the right is so small.
It really is, yeah. Great run.
Yeah, plenty of power from that awkward stance. Now Logan from like 45.
Yeah, his throw looked good. It was just obviously hugging the tree line a little too much, but it looked good. The speed and the angle looked great. Just released a hair early. Or late
low.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a straight look. These trees are not in his way.
Yeah, just outside the circle.
Oh,
and
so
just
close.
Short. Gavin, easy tap in. Great birdie. One of the easier holes in the course, coming in at about half or quarter stroke under par. Plenty of birdies to be had throughout the field, and then probably a lot of pars as well. So, moving on to hole number 14. It is a 700-foot par 4. Really tight gap shot off the tee box, plenty of trees to miss, and then there's this one little pesky tree at the end of the fairway. It's around 330 to get to that little V tree right, out on the right side of the screen there. Mm-hmm. Anything past that, then it's just kind of wide open. You're just trying to get out to the left, try to push as straight for as long as you can, and then just get left so you can have plenty of space to come into the green. There is no out of bounds on the right side. It's just the thick woods. So just getting out into the open, throwing a little forehand, maybe a backhand turnover, give yourself an easy birdie look. This is one of the easier holes in the course. Looks good.
Looking really good.
Oh, and just hit that last tree. That one, again, a little pesky tree. Yeah. Me probably tuck off probably 80 feet or so from that drive. Didn't quite get it to turn. It's going to have quite a... I mean, Birdie probably just out of play from there. He's got like 500 feet or more.
For a big ol' hyzer flip.
Yeah. About 450 probably out of the tunnel. Yeah, he'll have probably a little bit less going into the green from there.
I think Logan's tee shots tend to be a bit too stable. I wonder if he's going to be able to get it to flip right. Oh, no.
Yeah, a little early release, though, I think.
Yeah, with Logan's power, I'd love to see him get a lot more of those turnovers, or flip-ups, rather, to turnover. Like this type of turnover. Beautiful.
Chris is just a really, really solid with his angle control. Like, throwing all the angles. He seems like he prefers to throw that hyzer and a flip-up shot, but shown plenty of times he can throw the flat shots or even the turnovers if necessary. And Logan just bombing a forehand, getting to flip up. He's probably got 100 feet probably from there. I'm sure Logan's frustrated with his round at this point, shooting 9 over. Definitely not the round that he expected to throw coming into this event, but I would say that, like, he has thrown the disc fairly well. Like, he's had some miscues. He had those early big numbers on, some of the, like, not necessarily tougher holes, but on holes that you probably are expecting to get. Let's see, Gavin, 40 feet?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if I were Logan, I'd keep my head up just because he's been throwing the disc fairly well. It just hasn't quite gotten the score that he wanted.
Yeah, for sure. And this is not an easy course, so it's, it's speaking to his talent to still be hanging around. I'm obviously, I think it was 9 over, not ideal.
Yeah,
especially in the
there's so much out of bounds in this course, and
wet conditions, being on camera. I mean, I feel like it's kind of like the game show situation where when you're calm and at home watching, you can play a lot more relaxed, but when you're under the pressure of 3 cameras aimed on you in front of some of the best players. Yeah, that was a run.
Nearly almost just drills it right as we're talking about him.
I consider it like trying to drive normal when there's a cop driving near you. You think you're playing normal, but you're in your head just a little bit. That was a good run too.
Garrett, get back on the board.
There we go.
That was centered.
I like his putt.
Yeah, really spinny and flat. Like, Chris is just like that local guy in your scene that you're just so annoyed that he always beats you.
Yeah.
It's like he's so solid. Like he's not gonna make you mistakes. And I'd be like, if I talk to people, he's from Liberty Hill, which is just outside of Austin. I'm sure all the Austin guys are like, damn it, Chris is here. Like,
yeah, but he's the guy who hasn't bought a new disc in like 5 years, 10 years. He's like, why? Mine work fine. And then he cleans up. Woo. Good putt. Yeah, it almost poked out there at the end.
Yep. No birdies from our group. Oh, one birdie, actually. I take back from Garrett. So nice job from him. Moving on to hole 15, 370-foot par 3. Wide open, nothing in the way. Just pick your poison, how you want to throw it. Either a power forehand or maybe a turnover backhand. I don't think you'll see many guys try to go on the right side. It just use the airspace and then get yourself a putt however you want to. This is one of the simpler holes on the course. There's no out of bounds that is relevant. Just whatever you can throw a 380 that moves left to right. That's your shot. And actually comes in as the second easiest hole on the course with 22 of the players getting birdie. Here's that same proto rock from Garrett.
Ooh, still throwing it up to space for that turnover.
Yeah.
And look at that.
Still
look
gliding.
At the shape off it. That's a great shape.
Just outside the circle. Didn't quite get it to turn as long as he wanted to, but he'll have a putt. Gavin going to show off the forehand power.
Ooh. Let's see how it finishes.
Wow, nearly in the bucket. He'll have, a little obstructed putt for his birdie there.
Another great flip up.
That's turning nice.
Yeah. Slowing down good too. Woo!
Oh, what a beaut.
Picture perfect. That is a textbook shot.
Take another look at that. Flat with some turn, really trusting the disc to move for him. Continuing to work to the right. Even gets nicely under these branches. Great height. And yeah, and then the speed is perfect. After this hole, he came up to me and said, "Do you see that squirrel come in there like that?" And I have no idea what he meant by that, because I looked up discs named squirrel and couldn't find anything. I assumed there was a squirrel on the disc. I have no idea, but Chris, if you're listening to this, hit me up. What did you mean by that? I think I just said, "Yeah, dude, it was great."
Yeah, just I want him to think I'm cool.
Yeah, I mean,
great shot by Logan. Yeah.
Garrett, just a little high. Didn't matter what it was. If it was a squirrel, a rat, I mean, it was a great shot. Gavin got some stuff in his hair, looks like.
Oh no.
A little short. Not shown on camera there was how long it took him to actually get to that spot because of how
cut around a bit.
Yeah, I mean, all the little shrubs and branches getting stuck in his hair.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
Disadvantage of having the luscious locks.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker.
Logan. That's one that, again, probably should have fell, but, you know, a little left. Not totally the basket's fault in that one.
Yeah, a bit left on his end, but yeah, those baskets didn't do that disc any favors of slowing it down.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what I meant by earlier when Logan was pacing himself before his putt. I think it's, with these baskets or whatever conditions, pacing yourself on these putts, even within 10 feet, are important.
For sure. Quick look at the leaderboard. Charlie Moore still holding strong at the top, 8 under. GT 7, Gavin at 6 under, tied with Mason Ford. And then a couple guys, Andrew Zink and Silas Williams, a couple younger guys that playing well and getting themselves into the picture. Great work from the field so far. Shooting probably 10, 20, 10, 30, maybe 10, 40 rated rounds at this point. So really solid shooting. Moving on to hole 16, another really neat little wooded shot. 300 feet. You kind of, really the design, I think, of this hole, the intended gap is right here where we're flying through. There are some gaps on the left and right, but this is the most pure line you can throw. Something straight with some turn, and then just go straight to the basket from there. You might see some shots that kind of filter the way to the basket through other gaps, but I think this is the shot most guys are trying to throw. And
very wide.
Now they say
that
and then Chris,
tree kicked him actually pretty good in. I don't know where he would have ended.
He's going to be just outside the circle, but maybe Chris was going for that really wide left route, but this is like Garrett's color grow rock.
That gap you mentioned.
Yep.
And beautiful.
That one should be good enough for birdie. That's beautiful. Again, a little hyzer stand up, getting some turn.
Turned exactly when he wanted it to. That is crazy control.
That was about as, that's the shot that was designed whenever this hole's put in the ground is exactly just through. Here's Gab with that Reco again from earlier.
Ooh, going for the wider gap, hopefully. Oh, ooh, oversends it a hair.
He's fine. He's just outside the circle, it looks like, from there.
Yeah. He's still got a good look.
And Logan with that P3X. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he'll hit a little late, but he'll have about 45, 50 feet maybe. Right of target. Looked like it was high enough though. And Chris, pretty fortunate to get to this spot. So let's see if we can capitalize.
Ooh, I thought that looked really good.
Looked good. Gavin as well, similar distance.
Yeah, hair low.
Chris coming back for his par.
Ooh, back-to-back low shots.
It's the first missed putt we've seen from Chris so far. Unfortunate, but still holding strong at 1 under. No problem. Good par from Logan. And here comes Garrett. Getting, I think this is maybe 3rd birdie of the round. And just such a different round that could have had. He's 1 under. Really, I mean, for the most part, pretty solid. With like 6 missed putts in the circle. You know, like it just making half of them, and he's in, he's contending for the lead. Moving on, hole 17. This is another, kind of wooded style par 4. Plenty of trees to miss. You got the biggest gap probably from right of the screen right now. So you're going to see lots of guys that throw something straight that turns into that gap on the right. Maybe you'll see guys throw something straight that goes to this gap as well. Kind of just pick a side of these big trees on the right. Both of them are around 380 feet from the tee. So that gives you around, 320 or so into the basket. Anything more than that, you're in great shape. So, and then the second shot, and just depending on where you end up, kind of determines what kind of shot you're throwing. You'll see a lot of forehands because there's so many trees to miss. But it kind of just depends. It kind of depends on where you land, right? But there is an old golf green that is right next to this basket, so speed control definitely is a concern. With the shorter grass, you can see lots of skips that come through with a bit more speed than normal. And then there's OB down below and onto the left. So it's so much about the tee shot on this hole, depending on where you land, whether or not you're attacking the green. Let's see Garrett going with his destroyer, and he's going for that right side gap, and looks to be
full
cruising.
Flight. I love it. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, he'll have some look over the right side, looks like, from there. But you got plenty of distance, so, definitely able to throw something slower going to the green.
For sure. You got to be touchy with that approach, too, because there's OB behind the basket, but it also drops off onto a very steep hill. That looks
Gavin
great, too.
also
if it
opting
stays
for the
clean.
right side.
Did something...
May have tickled something.
Yeah.
Looked like it took up a lot of speed, so, but you'll still have probably 330 or so into the green, maybe a little less, or a little more.
Man. Rooting for him, yeah. That unfortunate kick.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, Logan has been throwing some pretty solid shots. It's just a little off.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably one of the only quote weaknesses I'd say in his game this early is, he's got incredible power. He's just zero it in just a hair. I think this dude is deadly if he does that. Definitely someone I'm going to be keeping my eyes on this season.
Chris, nice shot.
Yeah, very pure, very right up the gap, no fuss, no muss.
Right. Didn't quite get it wide enough.
Felt bad leaving his hands. Yeah, this whole
little gap.
Yeah, this hole it can be a bit of plinko. You see all these trees here.
Yeah, that's solid from him.
Just finish that tree.
It's
may
that
have
last
helped him.
tree.
That tree may have kept him in. You think?
Maybe. I mean, but I don't think I think it was slowing down. But I guess what I'll say is I don't think it probably changed the outcome much for him, because he probably gets like 60 or so feet from there, like more, and he's probably still just getting up and down, and so he's probably frustrated to hit that last tree. But I don't think it changes much about the result of the hole. Gavin, and actually I didn't mention this in the breakdown, but he is going to be throwing right over an out of bounds area. So as long as he gets over it, it's no problem. But if he doesn't get high enough, yeah, no problem. He's got the height. But that long stuff you can see in the picture there is out of bounds.
Oh, number 5 looks like it was coming towards you again.
Yeah, yeah, that one.
But he's
I mean,
happy.
you can tell, like, so far in every shot just like hits the ground and stops. But on that golf green, things move a lot easier.
Good shape. Get it to stick
There
a bit.
you go, Garrett. That's when you throw those massive drives, that's what you need to do. Just get it up there, put it close, and get your birdie.
Very good.
Logan, that should be hit for his par. For his bogey, actually, right? Yeah, for his bogey.
You can do it. Oh,
Ooh,
just a little
wow,
tickle.
Chris.
Yeah, right. Can't get too mad at that. That was a good run.
Gavin to really probably secure his place on the lead card next round. I mean, depending on how 18 goes, like this is
For sure.
give him a better chance at least.
Yeah, don't want to let these shots go.
Ooh,
Yeah, look,
just
a
barely
little
over the
flirty.
rim, but in 7 under with tough 18 to come, so we'll see how that goes. But
For sure. There you go. See, he's pacing himself nicely here. There's my dude.
there you go, Logan. Nice job from Garrett.
Good birdie.
3 under so
Solid
far in the
round.
back.
Solid back 9 from Garrett.
Yeah,
I'm sure he would have liked more
I mean,
birdies, but I mean, he didn't throw anything lower than a par.
Yeah, I mean, definitely solid. You know, Gavin 4 under, and Garrett, Garrett just one behind him. So both solid back 9s. But I mean, we can go back and watch. But Garrett probably had 2 or 3 more opportunities. So I think that's the story of the round so far for Garrett at this point. But moving on to hole 18, it's a 460-foot par 3. And this is one of the coolest finishing holes, probably in Texas, maybe even in the region. A big island green over a big creek. Anything in the long grass is out of bounds, so you're just trying to get it to hit and stick. But obviously the problem with that, the basket on a big old hill. So anything that hits short right is probably rolling to the bottom. Anything that hits above the basket might be skipping out of bounds. It's a very, very touchy shot. Probably no matter what, you're gonna have to make a putt to get a birdie on here on this hole. Garrett going wide. I don't know if it's pushing far enough.
Ooh, it looks like he's in. He's flirty with that OB line.
Yeah, he's gonna be close.
Yeah, there is a drop zone as well behind the basket on the top of the grass to our left.
That's
so you're
right,
gonna be throwing towards the downhill. So
yeah, I mean, a death putt to save par from about 35 feet or so.
I'm curious what the ideal placement. Ooh, good control, good stop there. What the ideal placement is here?
Yeah, I think most guys are probably trying to hit the hill on the right side and just hope that it sticks, because
That looks
if
great.
they come, this looks pretty solid. If they're hitting high and left of the basket
And
on the
roll
flat,
down.
it's just going to skip away. So, I mean, I think that's something you just take with it, what you get. Like sometimes it's going to hit the hill and stick. Sometimes it's going to hit the hill and roll down the bottom, and whatever, you just take what you get.
Chris taking another rain tee. Trying to give him a little more angle, I guess, to help get this to finish.
Chris
Oh, push.
didn't quite flip as much as he wanted to, I don't think. And yeah, he's going to be out of bounds going to the drop zone there.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the cooler 18s, cooler way to finish a round. But yeah, it's pretty. It can be brutal. We've seen pros drop massive strokes on this just because you either make your putt or you're adding like 2 more strokes to recover and then land it. Yeah, that's probably about where you want to.
If he hit maybe 4 or 5 feet left of where you hit, then he had some chance to skip up the hill. But I mean, it's fine. I mean, this is not one that you're dying to birdie.
Stay. There you go. That's best case scenario on a missed putt on that hole.
And actually, in fact, this is the second hardest hole on the course.
I 100% believe that.
I have almost half a stroke over par.
Yeah, I mean, how far was it to touch island?
It was about 380 just to get safe. I mean, it's a little bit downhill, so maybe he plays like 350 or so.
Good run.
Wow, that's 2, actually.
Very
I'm surprised
fortunate.
that didn't roll down the hill. Garrett's and Logan's felt like they had a good chance to roll.
Ooh.
And that one.
You could feel everyone clenching up.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're putting a disc on edge on this hill, you're just asking for it to roll. So the fact that 3 out of 3 stayed up is pretty surprising.
Yeah, I mean, just to speak to the talents of these guys, the skills. I mean, you said 380 just to be safe. Like, imagine you need to throw 380 and then also semi-accurately.
Right, absolutely.
Just to not land OB.
So that'll wrap up our front 9, and we've got a new lead card going into the second round. Charlie Moore, GT Hancock, Gavin Phillips, of course, a familiar face, and Mason Ford, which, we're familiar with him as well. So it's gonna be fun to see. We're moving on to a different course, Texas Army Trail.
That's right.
Much more wooded course. It's a wooded course. It's not like a ball golf wooded course. It is a wooded course. And also potential for more rain. So we'll see if there's any rain during the round. It's supposed to rain overnight, and it being a wooded course, it could be swampy. So we'll see how the second round goes. But it's gonna be fun to see these guys that came out to this long bomber course like Brock Gold to shift over to a more technical wooded course and see how they adjust. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be fun to see Mason as well, and then GT and Charlie, both Texas like legends, basically, like legends of the South Texas disc golf scene. So it's gonna be fun to see them play on courses they're familiar with and see how they attack them.
For sure. So join us for round 2. That'll be dropping soon. And again, thank you to our broadcast sponsors, Gorilla Disc Golf, Image 360 San Antonio West, Tree Love Disc Golf, Lucky Ace Podcast, and the Summit Insurance. Be sure to do good things to us if you'd like our coverage and would like for us to continue doing this. Subscribing, liking the video, share, follow us on Instagram. Anything that helps boost the important numbers is going to help us go to more events like this and help bring you guys more Texas disc golf. So see you guys next round.